All right, I'm Aaron, co-founder of the Pickleball Clinic in Montclair Pickleball. We're here at Montclair Pickleball, Bergen County in Fairlawn, New Jersey. I'm here with one of the pickleball legends out here. He's number 3 in the world in mixed doubles. Really just been dominating all of pro pickleball lately. James Ignatowich, thanks for sitting down.
Thank you for having me.
So, with a lot of players, I just want to start off with the origin story. Where did you hear about pickleball? How did you get into it, and how did you get so good?
So I was done with tennis. I only played for a year and a half at Vanderbilt, so I was a decent tennis player. I never actually started. I was better in high school. I was like one of the better high school recruits in the country. Got to like the semifinals of Easter Bowl and was good. And then when I got to college, totally started focusing on the wrong stuff. Not tennis. I went to a fun school. I went to Vandy. It was right in the middle of Nashville, Tennessee. So I did everything the opposite of what would be conducive to being good at tennis. And anyway, I was off the team in a year and a half. And then I spent 6 months, didn't have any tennis, didn't really know what I wanted to do. And luckily I lived in Delray Beach, Florida. So which is like an epicenter for pickleball, right? So I'm walking around, see some courts, and I'm like, wow, there's like some pretty small courts, but they kind of look like tennis courts. Everybody looks pretty old. I'd probably go out there and dominate, maybe, check it out, see what happens. So I went over, I checked out the courts, and it was actually a guy that I walked in, and it was a place called Delray Tennis Center. I walked in and I was like, hey, is this like open play? And he says to me, yeah, but this is like more like advanced players. Like, I don't know if this is for you, like it's your first time playing, you should probably, look elsewhere. And I was like, I'll probably be fine. And then anyway, it came pretty easy. We're talking about, 3-0s here, and especially back in the day. This was almost 3 years ago now. And started playing and just got obsessed with it. Didn't really know there was even a pro game. At that point, first 6 months, I was kind of just like messing around, playing for fun. And I was having so much fun, I just got obsessed with playing. And then I got good, and that's it.
So you also play mixed doubles with your girlfriend, Anna Bright. She's also one of the best players in the world. What are the pros and cons of playing with your significant other?
It's definitely good. She's such a great player. It's good to have that sense of security. Like if I play badly or something, I'm pretty sure she'll stick with me as a partner. If I have a bad turn, I'm not going to get dropped from my girlfriend. If I do, I must have really massively messed up on the court. It's interesting. It's definitely good because I think it's easy for us to communicate about like what we're actually thinking, because we're together all day. So like if we're going to go out there and play, it's something where we've had some time to speak about. We can speak about matches over dinner. It's great, but it definitely has some challenges.
Are you guys ever like just chilling, relaxing, and like one of you wants to talk about how the match went, and the other's like, let's just relax, have a nice dinner?
We really don't talk much about pickleball unless it's like, okay, we both are like, this is going to be our time to talk about pickleball. Like, we won't bring it up too much if it's our own pickleball. We'll talk about like, some other player did something dumb or something funny, whatever. Like, we'll talk about the happening. But if we're talking about like our own matches, we're going to just have like, okay, like, at 7 p.m. tonight, let's talk about it.
Right.
Nothing random.
So you're obviously one of the top players in the world. You're maybe right under that sort of top spot. There is a difference between being number 3 and number 1. Do you feel like you will be able to get to number 1 in the world?
I think it's possible. If you look at like Ben's obviously been playing for like 8 years or something, at least. And I first picked up a paddle 2 years and 9 months ago. I think there's definitely a learning curve that still happens with pickleball. I think that I'm still getting better, and I think that, Ben is still getting better too, but maybe I'm getting better at a faster rate. But I'm not really so focused on being better than the players in front of me as much as I am just focused on being as good as I possibly can be. Because if I were comparing myself to, the best players, I would have never thought that I would actually be this good. When I first started playing, I never thought that I'd be like a top 20 player. I saw the pros and I was like, wow, like, I went to my first pro pickleball tournament actually in March of 2022, and I saw the doubles. It was like JW and Dylan and Riley and Matt, I think, in the finals of that Riverland Open. And I was like, these guys are just unbelievable. Like, I'm never even going to touch these guys. I'm just going to try to be the best player I can be. And now I'm here.
All right, so give me your top 5 men's doubles players in the world and top 5 women's doubles players in the world.
So just men's, not mixed doubles?
But you know, if you could just generalize overall, if it's possible to do that, overall doubles player as a men's doubles players, some combo of men's and mixed, and then same for women.
Yeah, so it's funny because there's such a difference in men's doubles between left side and right side. Like, I'm probably a better left side men's doubles player than Dylan Frazier is, but he's a way better right side men's doubles player than I am. So I think in women's doubles, there's more switching that goes on. So there's more variance in what happens out there, and I think players are a little more well-versed on each side. But like, you'll never see Ben Johns play the right side. I'm sure he's a great right sider, obviously. But I think that if you combine mixed and men's doubles, you know, I won't rank them. I mean, I'll put a 5 in there. I mean, obviously Ben, JW, Riley Newman, Dylan Frazier. Dylan's not the best mixed player. I mean, he's a good mixed player, but I don't think he's a top 5 mixed player. But his right side men's, I mean, for my money, I think he's the best right side men's doubles player. And then, I mean, I'll probably throw myself in there at 5 just because if I don't, it would, I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll do it. I'm not so like, you know, I'm so amazing or whatever, but I'll just do it because you're watching me on YouTube. So, you know, I'm going to tell you how great I am.
That's valid.
Just kidding.
What's your biggest weapon in pickleball, and why is it so good?
I think my biggest weapon is probably my two-handed backhand cross-court dink. The only reason that I think it's my biggest weapon is because it's my most unique shot. There's not a lot of guys, like literal male players, who have a two-handed backhand cross-court dink. The female players do it a lot more often. And it's funny, like when I got started playing, I was doing that shot right away with the two-hander. It just felt way more comfortable. And there were a couple of guys, like local 5-0s, back when I was like a 4-5, like 2 years ago. And there was like local 5-0s saying like, dude, that's just a shot for girls. Like the two-handed backhand, like, dude, if you're a guy, just use a one-handed backhand. I was like, all right, whatever. I actually felt a little self-conscious. I was like, oh God, is this girly, like what I'm doing? Thank God I didn't stop, because now like it's definitely a helpful shot. I think that a two-handed backhand is always going to have a higher ceiling of how good it can be than a one-handed backhand, which is obviously you should try it. You know, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to do it. But I've seen so many comments like on my YouTube saying like, James, like, you don't need a two-handed backhand. You can hit a one-handed backhand in pickleball. It's like, well, yeah, you don't need one. I mean, you know, Tyson doesn't have one. He's still a great player. I think it's one of those situations where you'd be better off if you do have one.
Yeah. So. And then a question I want to ask to really anybody significant in the pickleball world: why do you love pickleball?
My favorite thing about it is just like the novelty aspect of it. It's so new. There's so many things that are always changing every year. The paddle technology is changing so much. Hopefully that gets dialed down. The fact that everything's changing means that there's different things that are now being taught. You know, like what I was taught 2 years ago, half of it doesn't really apply anymore, which is so cool. I mean, there's no other real sport outside of maybe like padel, which is also new. But who cares about padel? I mean, pickleball is way cooler.
Yeah, pickleball's better.
No, I just think that the fact that it's so new, everything's changing, strategy's changing, the players in the top 10 are changing so quickly because the whole sport is just so, I mean, we're not even close to what it's going to look like in 10 years. So I kind of feel like I'm at like the beginning of like a startup or something. And it's because everything is, it's all so new and so fun. So.
Yep. It's new, it's changing, but it's a crazy world we're living in, this pickleball world. So appreciate you sitting down, man.
Awesome.